I think it's a mixture of both. Because, yes, perhaps you could look at, say, the United States, for instance, and say they are perhaps in terms of politics not as open and as friendly to other nations as they perhaps once were because of their America First policy. But having said that, if you look at the way NASA and ESA and other space agencies work, there's a huge amount of international cooperation. So, despite all what may seem the friction in the newspapers, when you actually speak to scientists, they have very warm relationships with Americans, with Russians, Europeans, with Russia and China. China works with ESA on certain missions. Russia is collaborating with China. So there is actually, I mean, that's one of the great things about space, actually, is that sometimes no matter what the conflict is going on, there is this working together of minds towards a common aim. And yes, of course, there is competition, and who wouldn't want to be the first to go back? But when it comes down to it, I mean, even all the, America going back to the moon, they couldn't do it without a key component which Europe's involved in terms of when they're looking at their gateway and actually going there on a more sort of permanent basis rather than a one-off. And the fact that China have done so well by going to the far side of the moon with their rovers, this adds a little bit of a nudge and a sort of, come on, other countries, let's do this. So I think, yes, there's competition, but don't be too worried, because on the ground, there is a huge amount of collaboration.